So I'm going to start us off with a prayer, if you'll join me. Heavenly Father and Mother, Comforter and Friend, thank you for the blue sky. Thank you for the joy that it brings. And thank you for the sunny dispositions this morning, especially the smiles on the faces of the young people. While we are expressing our thanks for joy, don't let us forget those who need joy in their lives, who need help, who need the sunshine and need help just finding food and shelter. Be with us this day and be with them. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Susie Alvey is going to present our...
We can keep it going if you want.
Okay. So I'd like to introduce our three Americorps people today. And first we have Andy Tisdale. This is your first year in FEMA Corps, which is part of the Americorps, and you're a community relations specialist, also serving as an assistant team leader and as one of his team's 2 media reps, which is why you're here today. You're currently working in the Rockaways as a member of the Division C planning staff, and you were born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And you enjoy reading, writing, reporting, running, ultimate frisbee, and following politics. Okay. And Tiffany is the team service learning initiator, is in the Corps Ambassador Program. You were born and raised in Texas, and you enjoy playing sports, especially soccer. Okay, and Katrina is 18, the youngest in the team, and you decided to make your mark on the world before going off to college, which I think is great. And you're from Columbus, Ohio, so that sounds good. So the three will be talking to us about Americorps today, so thank you.
Like I said, hi, I'm Katrina. We came here to talk to you about our wonderful program, Americorps NCCC, or National Community Civilian Corps. This is Tiffany, like she said. That's Andy and Katrina, and here's our presentation.
Okay, well, we thought we'd start you off with a little history of us. Our closest ancestor in the world of government program genealogy is the Civilian Community Corps, and that was a Depression-era thing that Roosevelt inaugurated. It was a kind of a work program. We still have some of the terminology from that old program in our present-day language. When they used to go out, they would go out in tents. And they would nail these tents down, these big tent spikes. So whenever we go out on a project nowadays, we call it a spike. That's kind of in memory of that. 1961 was the Peace Corps. Ask not what you can do, what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country, or in this case, any other country that you happen to be going to and doing good work. John F. Kennedy. Then in 1964, Volunteers in Service to America, kind of the first of our modern Americorps programs, was created. That was Lyndon Johnson and the Great Society. Like you said, politics, I love them. Let's see. Then in 1993, the Modern Corporation for National and Community Service, that's our overarching organization. They're our boss. They tell us what to do, where to go, and we happily go there and we do these things. And Americorps was inaugurated around that time as well. That's our parent organization. That's the A on our shoulders, and that's what makes it possible for us to do everything that we do.
All right, here's some fun facts, or fast facts. Americorps has gained over 800,000 members since 1994. Americorps members have served a total hours of 1 billion. Americorps has given $2 billion in education awards, and Americorps has served with 15,000 volunteer programs. Also, keep going.
So these are our 3 modern kinds of programs. We are Americorps NCCC, like she said, National Civilian Community Corps. We go around and we teams of 8 to 12, and we travel as a team, live as a team, work as a team, ideally anyway. Sometimes we have to be split up to work on different assignments, but we're a team-based program. And we live with each other for 10 months. It's amazing, I love it. Americorps Vista, Volunteers in Service to America, we're supposed to be more direct service, what we call direct service. We go out and we do physical work, like we work at the garden, or we help clear trails or whatnot. And Vista is what they call capacity building, going out and recruiting, building volunteer programs, helping them get better at achieving whatever it is that they want to do. As for state and national, Americorps hands out grants to volunteer programs across the country, and basically whatever the local needs are in that community, they try to find organizations that are trying to serve those needs and help them, again, do what they can do.
All right, who we are, we're NCCC. We're a full-time team-based residential program, so that means we just live with each other for 10 months. It's a 10-month commitment. We seek out 18 to 24-year-olds. We have 5 campuses: Denver, Colorado, Sacramento, California, Perry Point, Maryland, Vicksburg, Mississippi, and that's actually where we're at. So we'll be actually going to Mississippi, back to Mississippi in a week. And then our last campus is Benton, Iowa. So we're based out of these 5 regions, and then we go around the country serving in these regions. We were actually in the southern region, so it's actually a shock that we came to New York. So we didn't really expect it. So, we came out here with, I didn't have a sweatshirt or anything, so I had to go out and buy one.
Oh, that's me again, okay. This is just a quick sampling of what Americorps does. I said volunteer work in a very sort of nebulous way, but these are some of the things that we actually do. We go out and we work in schools, we teach and we tutor, we build homes, we go out and muck and gut homes, like after Hurricane Sandy, we've done a lot of that. Mucking and gutting being going into, say, a flooded basement and taking out insulation, drywall, carpeting, anything that got moldy, and making it ready for contractors to come in. We fight poverty, yeah, we conserve the environment, yeah, we build trails in national parks, and we have a rollicking good time doing all of these things. We also respond to disasters, which is why we're here. Obviously, we came out to respond to Hurricane Sandy. We've been here for a total of about 4 months, 5 months.
I think it's been 5, isn't it? 4.
Time goes by fast.
We've been here for a while. That's it. Much more.
Okay, reasons to join Americorps: to help others, career skills, adventure. We love traveling. We love just packing up our bags and going. There's some great benefits, and to serve our communities. So. The benefits are we get a living allowance, a stipend to live on. It's not much, but it gets us by. They provide us health care, which is amazing because I've used it a lot. Student loan deferment. We don't have to make payments on our loans until we're out. So, and then they provide us training, which looks awesome on a resume. It's career skills. At the end of our service, we get an education award, which is $5,500 to go toward college or to pay back loans if we've already went to college. They provide housing and meals, and so it's a great opportunity to learn how to live with other people, to learn how to cook if you don't know how to cook, and to wash dishes if you haven't learned that. There's life skills.
Oh, okay, that's me. Well, you already said my profile, so that's me. I graduated from the College of Worcester last year, and I was looking around. I wanted to do a 1-year service program. Essentially, I had never been much of a volunteer or a service member. I'd done a little bit. I taught kids in my college hometown, but I'd never actually gone out and done service. And I wanted to experience it. I wanted to do some giving back, and I was just really interested by this program. I was originally looking at City Year on the Americorps website, and then just saw hey, you get to travel around the country, you get to do serve in disasters, you can do direct service, and wow, that sounds really awesome. So I applied, and a couple months later I was in, and it's been a terrific experience. I've really enjoyed it. We've lived in, 7 different states? In like last 7 months, 7 states: Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, one night in Connecticut, New York,
We stay in
New Jersey,
Virginia.
yeah, technically New Jersey. But we've been through Virginia enough to qualify. So, yeah, have a wonderful time.
Alright, this is me. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. My name is Katrina Martin. I'm the youngest of the team, like she said. I'm 18. I've always had a passion for helping others. My family has ingrained it into my brain. So I came out to spend a year helping others. Next year, I'm also going to Costa Rica to do some volunteer work. And then after that, I'll go to college. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I don't want to waste money on college without knowing what I want. I love helping people. The best part is meeting these wonderful people and become best friends with them. They're like my family now. 10 months together is a long time, but it's great. Yeah, that's me.
All right, I'm Tiffany Chu. I am actually one of the oldest members on my team. I went to the University of Texas, majored in sociology, minored in business. Before this, I was actually working at a law firm, and I just felt like, I don't know, like in high school, I guess I did a lot of community service. I loved it. And I felt like during college, I got so consumed with paying rent, paying for food, paying my bills, that I just wanted to give back and, really think about what life's, the importance of life. And I think service is one of the best ways to show you care. I guess one of the main reasons I joined too was I grew up with a lot of guys who ended up being Marines, and so I wanted to serve my country, and I just didn't want to shoot guns, so I thought this would be an awesome way to serve my country. After this program, I plan on serving another Americorps program. And the best part of being in this program is being with people who really care about you. So, and then if you're interested in Americorps, if you know anybody who is, there's a website that they can go to, americorps.gov. We also have flyers and some goodies that you guys can take if you guys would like. So, thank you.
We're also here to answer absolutely any questions.
Well, I'm wondering why we didn't know enough to invite all of the young people to our church. Obviously, you don't want us.
But you know young people.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it'd be nice to just have this opportunity to spread the word about who and what we are, and if it percolates down to somebody who might be interested in joining, that's awesome.
I am interested in knowing what pocket the money comes from that supports this program.
Well, we're all federally funded.
Yes, but what is the agency? Yeah.
The Corporation for National and Community Service is it's not part of a department. It's a separate government corporation. It has its own budget. I think it's something like it's in the neighborhood of $1 billion per year. So in the context of the federal budget, it's infinitesimal, and all of our funding comes out of that. The program that we're in is called FEMAcorps, where we assist FEMA pretty much exclusively. We don't go out and do kind of regular NCCC projects. We just work with FEMA and disasters, and FEMA provides some of the funding for our program in that area.
Andy, can you talk about your projects that you've done on Long Island?
Sure. Well, the reason we're here is because I got in touch with Susie through working at the bird sanctuary. Several teams went to. A few members of my team, several just kind of random teams heard about this place and decided to go there and spend a day clearing fallen trees, brush, other kinds of debris that we might have sand.
I'm going to come up and join you because you heard the bird sanctuary and then they heard, I'm Rob Albee, and as you know, for about almost 20 years now, I've been doing a volunteer program in the community to change over a NASA county-owned stormwater basin into a community asset. Okay, we call it the Garden City Bird Sanctuary, or Tanner's Pond Environmental Center, or the Arboretum, or Bob's Big Backyard. And a couple of months ago, I got a phone call from the Long Island Volunteer Center, and was I interested in volunteers? As you know, Hurricane Sandy hit our community very hard. It hit Long Island very hard. And then I saw an email from a couple of people, Annabelle Dunbar, a couple other ones, and it said, would you be interested in some volunteer work? But I saw something called FEMA attached to their email. As you know, I'm a federal worker, and I work for the EPA. I'm in the Emergency Remedial Response Division, ERRD. I know FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, who has helped in Katrina and some of the other areas. And when I emailed these people back, it turns out, well, they're here on a program, and they had nothing to do on weekends. And they were bored, and they wanted to help out a little bit. And I said, oh, yeah, I could certainly use you. I work full-time, and I'm trying to get this thing done. And as it turns out, on a cold day in January, we had 40 of these people, because they talked about being divided up into teams. Well, okay, I said, spread the word. I can use as many people as you want, as you can get down here and help out, and they really were good. Now, they really don't know what happened, but there is a God story, because they were going to start at 10 o'clock and work, and I get down there at 8 o'clock to start moving out some of the tools and things that they could use, and lo and behold, on the street, there's a truck, there's a Caterpillar vehicle, there's a skid steer, and there's 10 guys with chainsaws, and I go up to the truck and go, are you my FEMA, volunteers? I thought they were college kids, and you guys are in your 30s and 50s. And the guy rolls down the window and says, who the hell are you? We're Nassau County.
Oh, wow.
And I went, oh, hi, I'm Rob Albee. I used to work for the county, and what's going on here? He says, we finally got the trees, and we got the streets, and we got the coastlines done. We're required to go into the county properties now, like these stormwater basins, and cut down the damaged trees and make it safe for that. And we're here to finish up. I went, phenomenal. We wound up, I said, I got 40 volunteers coming in about an hour and a half. What are you going to do? And what can we do? They actually went out of their way and cut more trees down. They cut the things into smaller sections. They couldn't bring it out to the street. That wasn't their requirement. It was just to get the stuff down to help the drainage continue. When these guys came in, there were mounds of already pre-cut materials. They're rolling out tree trunks and logs out to the street. And then Susie wrote an article on that, 4 tons of fun. Okay, what they got down there. And I cooked hot dogs for them, and we did some other stuff. We made it a good day. They went on their way, and then they called.
It was a cold day.
Cold day. And then they came back, called me again, and says, we're not doing anything on President's Day or this thing. Can we come back? And we'd like to do this again. I said, all right, fine. And sure enough, that was the February 10th blizzard. So I said, don't come in here. You can't walk around with 10 inches of snow on the ground. But then they came back President's Weekend. They came in about 20 of them on a Saturday. We did some more work. By now I got a little heater to cook, so we could heat ourselves up that one. And then on President's Day itself, I don't know who was there anymore because I'm seeing too many names, but we had about 14 or so come in on that President's Day holiday, and we got another 2 tons of material out. Susie cooked dinner, we had them over our house, and it was great. And she, of course, she's the big coordinator on this stuff. She says, Andy, could you come back and give us a talk here? So I really very much personally appreciative, and your village has really benefited by having these people here, just helping us out in this one small area. In March, I gave a presentation at Hofstra University's Sustainability Conference, and it was about how volunteers and what we've been doing for the last 20 years to sustain wildlife in suburbia. As you can see, as things have grown and developed, there's less wildlife around, but this is one of the stories about using these stormwater basins as wildlife sanctuaries. So thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, and then you've also done work down south with the Long Beach area, south of Long Island anyway. So what did you do there?
Well, I've been talking a lot, so why don't you guys take it?
Well, okay, on weekends we usually do service projects, and I've actually helped at garden compost. I've helped We've helped package food at a food bank.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We just do individual service project, any projects that seem interesting, that need help, we're out there, we're willing to help. We just gotta know about it, and we're out there, so.
So 5 days a week, you're working with Americorps, and then on the weekends, you're doing more volunteering.
Well, 5 days a week, we're working for FEMA, and we all have our assigned roles. You mentioned I'm a community relations specialist. We all are. That's our team designation. And what that meant is right after the disaster, we would go around door to door to homes in affected areas. We were in Nassau County to start out. Yeah, Freeport. What was the other one? Island Park. Island Park, Hempstead.
Oceanside? Yep.
Yeah. And we would go to door and see what people's needs were, and if they'd been registered with FEMA yet. If not, we could give them information on how to. And so we did a lot of stuff like that. And we did that right after the disaster, we did that 7 days a week. Slowed down to 6 and eventually 5. And then on the weekends, like she said, we would go out and do what they call individual service projects, just any kind of volunteer work that presents itself. So we did food bank, we did composting, the bird sanctuary. What else have we done?
We handed out clothes at a shelter. Our,
I think I was there for that one.
Yeah, we moved clothes and food.
Where were you living during this time when you were?
Fun story. Okay. That's great.
Okay, so when we first got here November 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
And so it was right after the storm. They put us on, first we were moved, we were in Fort Dix in New Jersey. So we had a little bit of a drive. We were only there for
1 day.
one night. We stayed a night there, and then they moved us into
A ship.
at the Maritime College. It's under the Frog's Neck Bridge. We stayed there for a month. And yeah.
It's once in a lifetime experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a training.
It's what they have for their cadets. They take the freshmen go on a 45-day cruise, the seniors on a 90-day cruise, but the rest of the time it just sits around. So they housed us there. They ended up housing, I think, a couple hundred FEMA reservists also ended up being there. And
So it was like 200 something of us, and then a couple hundred.
yeah, it was pretty packed.
If you need some emergency work, there's a lot of Carnival cruises lately.
Just slightly nicer.
I want to know if they gave you paper sheets and pillowcases. I went to a conference there once in the summer, and that's what we had. Or did you have real ones?
We travel with sleeping bags.
Yeah, so we just use the.
They did
Okay.
provide us
They didn't
with
provide
pillows
anything.
and some sheets and some really scratchy blankets if we wanted to use it. Yeah. The food was really good on the ship.
That's what's true.
Because one of the problems that you had, like, we had some tree people who had come up here, that you have the people who had to move out of the South Shore to find hotels, et cetera, to live in. And then when all the workers came in, where are they going to stay? So then you have kind of like sort of an oddball place being on a ship.
Yeah, it's a good story.
It's a good place.
Are you still there?
No, we are up in Whitestone. We're at next Stay Hotel. Up in Queens.
It's by Flushing. Yep. So, yeah, so it's a lot nicer than the ship, but, so.
I like the show.
Do you have a car then that you travel down the South Shore?
We actually have a 15-passenger van. It's parked outside, so we just drive around. We travel. We're driving all the way to Mississippi in that, so we just travel everywhere with it.
Literally everywhere in that van.
That's basically our permanent home for the 10 months because that's what we take everywhere. That's our van. We've named it Hildegard.
He'll be for sure.
Yeah, Hildy for sure. We just
Surprised
drive.
some of the van names.
We just drive it all over wherever they want us to go. Unless they want us to go like across country, then they would maybe fly us.
I know that
Doesn't have to be very
there were
long.
some people in the Pacific region, when they were responding to Hurricane Sandy, they wanted to get people in from all over because they needed volunteers and they needed Americorps members. but it was not really feasible to have people from Sacramento drive all the way across the country. So apparently Southwest Airlines picked them up. They gave them a couple of hundred free tickets and just flew them over that way. So that was incredibly good of them. Yes, sir.
You mentioned before that some of your initial work was taking insulation out and drywall out from the hurricane.
That's what we do on weekends.
Yeah. Okay. Our church youth and youth from a lot of different churches are planning on coming here this summer to do construction work. But I think the organizers of that mission project are having a little bit of difficulty finding places that actually want them to do construction. Have you been doing any kind of, have you been putting up drywall and doing any kind of carpentry work or anything?
We have not done anything of the kind. We just come in with sledgehammers and crowbars and rip out stuff that needs ripping out. I don't think we've been called upon to build anything yet. Although that is a thing that regular NCCC will do as one of their regular projects. They'll hook on Habitat for Humanity for a few weeks and go out and build houses.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't done anything like that so far.
Do you have any protection for your own health working in this kind of an environment?
With whatever organization we work with, we ask them if it's possible for them to provide like hard hats. They gave us the whole jumpsuit thing. We wear masks, goggles, and gloves and everything, so that we won't have like mold or anything like anyone else.
They're very safety conscious. Yes, ma'am.
How long, for the most part, do people stay with your group? I mean, do you come for a year, or sign up for 2 years, or some people stay longer? Or?
It's a 10-month commitment, so we started in August and we'll be finished in June.
And then,
you
can
can
sign up again if you want.
You can choose to do a second year. You only get the educational award twice.
Oh, I see.
So if you do a second year, then you get that. But if you choose to do another year, you won't get the educational award. But with other Americorps programs, you can break it up into segments, but you can still only get the 2 education award, like the full amount.
And the length varies based on the program. There are a lot of summer programs we're required to accumulate 1,700 hours of service by the end of the program. There'll be programs that, I think there was in Wisconsin, I was looking at this over the summer, and it's where I live, there's the Energy Conservation Corps, and that's something like a 300-hour commitment over the summer. Yeah, it depends on the program.
And you can get another year in there if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's guaranteed.
So 10 months in the.
Yeah, you can apply and you can try to get back in. You can come back as we're all sort of rank and file ordinary Corps members. You can come back as a team leader and bless you. Yeah, you can. There are a lot of options to come back. You can do a VISTA program, Volunteers in Service to America program. You can go back with the state and national team and work in essentially anywhere in the U.S. except North Dakota. I heard recently that they don't have a service commission set up for that. I don't know why.
And you're wearing T-shirts and basically the same type of clothes. What does NCCC and Americorps provide you as far as basic clothing or equipment or uniform type materials?
We got awesome steel-toe boots. They provide us uniforms, cargo pants, which really come in handy.
Those are our dress pants.
Yeah, so
the black are our dress pants, and then we wear tan for our regular pants.
They've given us T-shirts, sweatshirts, parkas. What else?
There's the headband, the hat, just kind of little gewgaws. There's something called a gaiter that I'd never heard of. It's like a scarf, except it wraps all the way around. It's incredibly warm. Most of these things have the logo on it. The gaiter does not. I don't know where you put it. We also got, so these are our grades. We got FEMA blues. This is polo shirts, long sleeve. We have a windbreaker, regular sweatshirt. Yeah, those are they.
Yeah, this is our FEMA outfit. We have the blue windbreakers. There's a sweatshirt. There's our tan pants. We're only allowed to wear pants for our FEMA outfit, but for NCCC, we can wear shorts. They gave us khaki shorts. This is our Americorps uniform, as you can see. The team leaders wear green tops for NCCC, and for FEMA Corps they were white, but she has a blue sweatshirt and jacket like us.
Now, when you signed up for this, how long a period of time do you go into training for what you're going to be doing?
We train for, how long, 2 months?
Well, a month and a half.
A month and a half. We trained in Mississippi, Vicksburg, that's where our campus was. We trained there, and then we went
That was
to...
for Americorps.
Yeah,
For NCCC.
and then we went to Anniston, Alabama to do our FEMA training, and that was for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
And it's
What's FEMA training?
I'll start from the top.
You take it, Paul.
Anniston, Alabama is the FEMA's Center for Domestic Preparedness, and it's where emergency responders come to get special training from the government. Like, they do a lot of training on what to do if there's like a nuclear, biological, chemical accident in your area. We didn't do that. we did essentially, they taught us the basics of FEMA, they taught us the command structure, who we were going to take orders from, how we were going to operate. They taught us some of the language. There's a whole other, being a government program, there's a whole other language of acronyms and terms. Where, you know, we're community relations specialists, CI specialists, we work in individual assistance, IA, etc. ad nauseum. We had a lot of training in how that works, and telling us all the basic, I mean, because we had to know
Well,
about
we
it,
have
talk
the
to
same
survivors about
training
it.
as FEMA employees get. We get the same exact training, but we're doing it as a volunteer program instead. But we have all the basic, well, the same qualifications. So with community relations, we go around, talk to the community, hand out flyers, see any concerns, send it up the chain. With individual assistance, we can register people online. Some people are able, some of, not our team, but other teams can look up their specific case, say this is what you need to turn in, blah, blah, blah. Things of that nature. So we have the same training as FEMA.
And the training is basically how you do that, how to work these computer systems, and how like the FEMA procedure works. And we also learned a lot about the different programs and how people can get assistance, so we can advise people on how best to get it. As far as Americorps training, AmeriCorps' aims are a lot different than FEMA. They want us to come out of the, I mean, FEMA wants, you know, good, solid disaster employees, which is nice. AmeriCorps also, I mean, part of the point of the program is so we come out of there as well-rounded young individuals who want to have a happy and productive life of doing community service and end up being solid citizens. So they give us safety training and all the stuff you might expect, and like how, you know, driving classes if we need them, how to work together, live together with your team. But they also have stuff like diversity training, how to interact with people of different cultures and make sure you don't offend anybody. Diversity training, by the way, fantastic. They had classes on nutrition, they had classes on problem solving, like really just anything you could think of how to be a solid citizen. We had training in that.
Excellent.
They also give us Life After Americorps. It's like training on things of trying to figure out what we want to do after we're out of Americorps program. So there's like financial training and things of that nature. Like you can choose out of a list of, oh, I think I want to do Peace Corps next year, and then they'll have like a discussion on that and things like that. So they
They're
have
very
all
good at
sorts of
providing resources about that. They'll have people who work on staff at our campus come and speak to us. I went to the seminar on being a government employee, and one of our, I think it was the deputy program director, Rich Smith, what's his title, I think? Well, whatever his name, whatever his title was, he came in and spoke to us about the perils of being a government employee and the benefits. And they have on-campus experts they bring in, because there are a lot of people on campus that are on staff that got their start doing, say, Peace Corps or Americorps, came up being a member and then a team leader and then up and up. And they also bring in outside experts from whatever other programs that are out there.
Sounds like a win-win situation for you and for
I think so.
Americorps and FEMA and everybody.
I have another question. With all the people who are involved with this, I don't know if you have any stats on what they end up doing afterwards, like how many end up, say, majoring in sociology if they haven't gone to college, or do they become politicians, or do they join the military? Do you have any idea, like, or maybe you personally, if you know of anybody,
No
or?
earthly idea.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good education you guys are getting. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
I'm sure studies have been done on it, but I don't know what they would say.
I've actually run into a lot of people from Americorps. I went to a concert in Atlanta with a couple of my other teammates, and there was like a meet and greet afterwards at the band, and like one of the band members who you point out, he was like, "Oh, you guys in the Americorps?" Because we were wearing our sweatshirts, and you're like, "Yeah," and he actually was in the Americorps too. So it was really nice to know like other people know who we are. So.
I mean, we have some anecdotal evidence. I know one of my high school classmates just joined the Denver campus in regular Americorps, and I know a couple of people back home who have done City Year and other programs like that. City Year being where you work in the city, in a given city for, I think it's like well, it would make sense if it were a year, wouldn't it? And you work in schools and you sort of serve as kind of a motivator, helping kids stay in school and stay engaged with their work. And they seem to be doing well, so anecdotally, it seems to work. I don't have any numbers for you though. I wish I had.
Yeah.
Well, most of, because it's 18 to 24, a lot of the members have already gone through college, and I know some of them, they've had careers, and then they're like, I want to serve a year helping, or they take a gap year in college, and they're like, I've been to college, I got my 2-year, I want to go help others, do something else for the community, just not help myself. And then for me, not being ready for college, I went into Americorps, trying to figure out myself before I get started. But no, I don't have any numbers either.
That's fine. Yeah. Very interesting.
From each of your experiences, is there, each of you can describe maybe one specific program or a different unit or activity you're on that meant a lot to you as far as, working, if you're saying you're handing out blankets or clothing to areas or doing a cleanup in the house? Any of those really hit home?
Well, I know there was, when we were doing door-to-door, this is the one that stuck with me, as if you want a specific incident. We were doing door-to-door canvassing in Freeport. There was we had instructions to call in if we found what we call critical needs, and food, water, heat, etc. Yeah, and there was an older couple, and I think they were in their 70s, and they had been getting home delivered meals. Their car had been destroyed, and so they couldn't walk. They were incapable of walking to go and get to the grocery store or anything like that. They'd been getting home delivered meals from the Red Cross, but for whatever reason, the meals had stopped coming a couple of days ago, and they were running low on reserves, and they didn't have power, so they couldn't get in touch with anybody, and they were just kind of, I don't know what they were going to do. But my partner and I came to the door, and we were asking them what their condition was, and they told us about this, and they said, "Oh my God, okay, well, here we happen to just have with us this list of all these voluntary agencies in the area that are providing services. We have the Salvation Army that does transport, and they can take you to the grocery store and get you some food, get you there." So we called in and said, "Hey, this is a critical need. These people need some help. This is what we can do about it." And we called the local emergency manager and put them in touch with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'll get some people out there right away." And we called the Salvation Army and said, "Hey, these people have a problem." They said, "Not a problem. We'll get out. Well, we do home delivered meals too. We'll get on it." So that was really gratifying to know that we if we had been canvassing, who knows how long it would have been before somebody came along. So that one hit home with me. I'm really glad that happened.
When we first got here, we were working in shelters, registering people for FEMA assistance, and I've already told this story to them and to people back in the Americorps, but I'll say it again. We were there, like I said, helping them register, and it was an assisted living home was evacuated, and so there were people not knowing what had gone on with their home or anything. So we were helping, they were mainly elderly, helping these people, and there was a few older gentlemen, and you could tell that they used to be these rough, tough New Yorkers, and now they're just like at their lowest point. They don't have a home anymore. They can't get in contact with their family. They don't have a cell phone or anything. So just to see them break down in front of you, and you know that they were once just like the tough ones. They took care of their family and everyone else. It really touched me. So that's my story.
I guess the first one that popped in, the story that popped into my head, we were at a shelter. There was this woman who, she was trying to register, and she had a child who's probably like 2 years old, and she was just trying to like calm the child down, just, you know, like the child was just like running around, and I ended up taking the child, just like playing with her, and then she ended up getting registered and everything, and mom like thanked me afterwards and was just like, thank you for like taking care of my child and stuff, and it was just really memorable. And I mean, I had a great time. I love children, so I mean, I had a blast. So. Are there any other questions?
You follow up with the same applications. One of the things I'm aware. I work with legal aid, getting people registered. We were down in Rhode Island and the Rockland and everywhere else. Getting people registered was kind of fine, but everybody gets denied usually. Because that's just part of the process. It's too early. The insurance isn't done for a lot of reasons. And he's trying to get people through. But a lot of them come back and say, I need appeals. You went once to see the situation. A lot of that, you know, the walls have been ripped down and things are dry and all that, but they're rebuilding and all that. I just find that there are a lot of people with special needs in particular, Americans with disabilities or whatever, that just, they went through the first round and people paid attention to them, and now no one's come back, and it's been months later and all that. And so I was just wondering, do you follow up on the people that you get, you know, registered or whatever and all that? Is there any program to do that? Or?
Well, the way it typically works is we have, we do have people whose job it is to work what they call case management.
Yeah.
And if they come back with a need, I mean, there are too many people out there for us to have a person for every, I wish we had that many people. But if you call in and say there's a problem with my application, or there's a problem with my recovery, ideally what we're here for is to be able to help with anything that we can. So there's not a lot that FEMA can do outside of our purview. Like we can't get a contractor or for somebody, or we can't. And there are a lot of limits on what we can do, which is frustrating at times.
So I just wonder if you
There
go
is
back
an
to that
appeal
house.
process.
I know this.
But yeah.
Legal aid is doing a great job, by the way, doing that. For anybody who needs an appeal, they're doing it. No law firms in New York is giving the time, but it's getting to know about who has the needs. But that's hard. You guys went, I admire this, door to door, find out the initial safety and other concerns for people. But as time goes on, no one goes back to a door. And I was just kind of wondering.
We've been doing, well, not the past couple of weeks, but before, like a month ago, we've been going door to door also, like our team. I don't know about how many others, but I know our team has been going door to door, making sure that people have what they need, and if there is more critical needs, then we'll report that and try to get them help. To the help that we can, try to answer questions if they have any.
It's a continuation. People trying to get lost after the first round. That's great.
And because they have this team broken up into FEMA teams now, it's kind of confusing. But my FEMA team has been in different, we've been in libraries and grocery stores, just setting up so that we can pull up their case. People can come up to us, we pull up their case, be like, and then we'll say, this is what they still need from you, or this is the concern, things like that. So we try to answer the questions that we can and help them on the spot, but like you said, it's hard to get to everybody.
I have another question. Do you know approximately how many Americorps and FEMA people, like with your group, have been on the South Shore? I mean, because you guys really have done a fabulous job covering all these communities that needed so much help. I mean, I don't even know if that one couple would have survived if you guys hadn't been there.
As far as number of people, this is aggravating because we went to a rally, not a rally, but a gathering yesterday for some of the head honchos of the Community Corporation for National Community Service came down here, and they gave out a bunch of numbers on how much we've done, and I wrote them all down in one of my notebooks, and the notebook is in my other pants. Because I wore my best pants. Yes.
How did your families feel when you told them, or did they help you decide to join Americorps?
My brother had actually told me about this program. I guess a lot of my friends didn't really know the program, but my brother had told me about the program. He was actually really proud of me. My friends back home who are all Marines are tough guys and everything. They're actually really proud of me. I mean, there are frustrations in this program, and you know, some days you just really want to quit, but you know, people just always encourage you to stay and stick it out. And I mean, my family, it's a little tough not seeing them as much as I did in the past, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, you grow up, you know, so I mean, it's gonna be tough either way, so might as well be helping other people, so.
I heard about this program in my youth group at a church kind of like this. They just came and talked, and I heard about it because I was like, what am I going to do next year? I'm so scared. And I heard about it and I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. So I signed up, and then I heard about, they sent me a link to FEMA Corps, and they're like, new programs, you want to try it out? And I was like, sure, why not? And then I got in. And I'm a mama's girl, so it's me, my mom, my sister, and they were like, go for it, you can do this, we're so proud of you. They're actually here right now in New York. No, they're here. They're not, yeah, they're back at the hotel. I've been visiting with them on the weekend. But yeah, they're really proud of me. They want me to go for my dreams, help out as many people as I can, and also, you know, get an education, but they're not going to be too pushy because they know that I'll try to do my own thing, so.
Has Andy got you involved with the Ultimate Frisbee tournament yet?
Well, lately we haven't played as much Frisbee, but we used to play a lot of Frisbee.
We have a perfectly good park across the expressway from where we're staying. And they never want to use it. They just
It's been cold.
So what? So you do these things. We can go out and play.
Well, we do have a tournament coming up with 2 other teams.
Yes.
We're having
We're gonna whoop their uniforms.
we're gonna play.
What is Ultimate Frisbee? Is it just
It's the most insane game you've ever
It's
watched.
like football and Frisbee put together.
Oh my God.
But there's no tackling.
There's no tackling. It's
Unless you're.
you throw and catch, you throw and catch, you eventually you get to the end zone and you win. Yay.
He's really good. He can jump.
I played at college. I played a lot. Yeah, I pushed it. We have okay. Slight explanation. We have a lot of, in addition to our FEMA roles, we also have NCCC roles. She mentioned service learning initiator. That means going out and basically making service as meaningful as it possibly can, learning about the communities you're in. I'm a media rep. I talk to the media. I talk to people who write articles, like the lovely Susie Alvey over there, and kiss up to them to get good press.
And then there's cappers, that's what I am, and she's also that. And that's what we're doing right now. This is called capping.
That being
We
a
go
core
around
mass of our program.
Trying to
recruit people.
get our name out too.
Yeah, the point of the story being there's also something called PT coordinator, physical training coordinator, and I was one of those until recently, so I scheduled a lot of frisbee. Now she's one of those. Now she's scheduling frisbee too, so we're really excited for it. So yeah.
Besides Freeport, what other communities have you been in?
Oceanside, Hempstead.
We're now in Far Rockaway. I'm doing Old Howard Beach, New Howard Beach, Hamilton Beach, Ozone Park, Breezy Point, Broad Channel.
Arvern, Roxbury, Rockaway Park, basically everything on the Rockaway Peninsula. We've been up and down. We were in Long Beach very briefly, usually because we got lost. Other teams were assigned there, but I think we did some work in there as well.
What was the effect on you of seeing all of this disaster, people who didn't know where they were going or what they were doing, still in shock? You got there about 3 days after the hurricane, and the nor'easter. So you were seeing them when they were at their lowest point, not knowing which way to turn.
That's right.
And you're coming from established communities that aren't in disaster conditions.
It's very emotional. I guess this was my first time to ever see anything like this. It's really heartbreaking, but I mean, we're here to help others. I mean, it's frustrating just because like you want to help them as much as you can. It's just frustrating because there are limitations to that, and I guess like you're always just filled with emotions, and you know what keeps me going is just knowing that you know you can help others, and just like waking up the next day and just doing your best. So I mean, it's definitely.
You definitely feel for the people that you're helping. I mean, every day when you, especially going door to door, that's the situation in FEMA in which you have the most contact with people, and you're just, I mean, it's really something. You get all kinds of, you get people. The thing that made the biggest impression on me was, you always expect there to be some people that are angry with the world, angry at life, angry at you, and you're just, part of the job is just to take it. But the vast majority of people were not like that. The vast majority of people were as helping and kind and forgiving of your faults as you could ever want. The thing that I heard the most from when we were canvassing in neighborhoods that hadn't been hit as hard, the thing that I heard the most was we would come to the door and ask, did you have any damage? And they would say, well, I had a little bit, but I'm okay. You should go down the block. It was much worse down there. And I'd say, well, you can be eligible for assistance. And they'd say, no, I don't want to take anything away from any, there's people that need it more than me. And that was just incredibly touching. Like every time that happened.
Coming here like 2 or 3 days after, it feels unreal because like in Freeport, there's boats on the street, and I've seen like a boat in a house, and like down in Breezy Point, it's complete devastation still, and it's just, it feels like it's unreal. I mean, back at home in Ohio, we don't have this stuff very often. So when you see it on the news, it's like, wow, that's awful. But when you're here, and you actually see it. And this isn't in my home. I couldn't imagine losing everything. It's just crazy just to see the devastation. It's unreal.
You talked about, New Yorkers and being tough and so on and so forth. The experience we had on our block was after 12 days of being without power. Trucks moved in. Some of them were county trucks, but most of the workers were FEMA workers. And everybody came out to watch and to cheer them on and to offer them hot drinks and cookies and whatnot. And these guys, some of them were from down south and some were from Ohio, I think. And they said, we've been told that, you people are going to be angry about everything that's been going on. They're going to be saying, why didn't you come earlier, and so on and so forth. They couldn't believe that we were just so happy. And actually, they came in and they didn't think they could finish the job. This was a Saturday, so we were all resigned to going to bed one more night in the dark. And they worked right through till 7:30 or so and got the job done, and then we were really cheery.
Yeah, for me, you hear about New York and you're like, oh, everybody's going to be so mean. But when we would walk around, how many times people are like, oh, it's cold outside, come inside, get some coffee, you want some hot chocolate, do you need to use the bathroom? And we're not supposed to take anything from anyone, but it's so sweet, just feel like I'm at home.
Did you get to meet any important political figures?
Oh, wow. That is Obama right there. Our team got to meet Obama.
say Dalton.
Not yet.
But yeah, our team was,
It looks like it's part of the poster on the bus.
but it's not. We were selected.
Oh, I guess I'm not realizing.
We
I
were
always thought that looking at that picture. Yeah, you can see me, by the way, looking like a goon. Grinning like an idiot standing at the side.
we were selected to meet President Obama, and that was pretty cool.
So, I guess the backstory to that is when he made his first visit to the disaster, I think it was about 3 weeks after Sandy hit, you were told by, what was it, the word came down through our unit leader to be ready. They didn't tell us what, they just told us to be ready to go out at a certain time. And we had a meeting with him the night before this happened, and he still wouldn't tell us.
But our team leader, she always has high hopes and everything. She was like, "Oh, we're gonna meet Obama. I really think it is." And we're like, "Oh,
I was like, no,
you're a little delusional. I think you've been working a little too hard." So I mean, a lot of us, we didn't really know what to expect, and then they told us that morning, and we all got our phones out, texting our mom, "We're gonna meet Obama."
So we drove down to Staten Island where he was coming in, and we saw the presidential helicopters fly over, there were like 5 of them, and we met, and it was really cool. They brought us out into the middle of this field where they had a disaster recovery center. They were shuffling, and they lined us up next to some members of the National Guard that were down the line because he was gonna need it as well. And we stood there, and then there was. The thing I remember most was there was a huge flock of geese circling the place. This was like a big open field, like a few football fields wide. And there were like hundreds of geese just sitting around. And right before he was supposed to come out of the tent, they all went, "Meow!" And they were just raining poop everywhere. It's like, this is not how this is supposed to go. And there was something came down right next to us, like right next to where I was standing. I was the second to the right on the line. It was me and Joe. And there was a Secret Service agent who walked over and was like, "Don't stand up." Okay, nothing I can do about that. Please continue. Being a Secret Service agent, or whatever you do. But yeah, it was.
What I remember most is shaking Obama's hand, but all right.
And he went down the line, shook all of our hands, said a few words to us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. He talked to each of us individually. He gave a short little speech to all of us. He thanked us for serving. He said how excited he was about the program. He sounded exactly like he does on TV. I said that.
He's not as
he
tall
does
as
the same thing with his.
Oh,
Really? Only 6'1".
He gave a few of us some hugs, so. Yeah.
She got a hug.
I didn't get a hug. You didn't? Sugar, I did. Yeah. Our team leader actually asked him for a hug.
Yeah, because
She was like, "I'm here," so I was just like, "Can I have a hug?"
it was so adorable though. Because she looked up like she had the conversation, shook his hand, and she looked up like a puppy dog, like, "Can I have a hug?"
It was like a child with Santa Claus.
We told how we were selected. The theory going around is that we were the prettiest team. Most people wanted us to be there.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, we lucked out. We lucked out so badly.
Is it time?
Yes, it's fine.
Can I ask
Okay.
one
Okay,
more
okay.
question? That's
One
kind
more
of
question.
a good ending question.
Supposed to end this.
I just think we obviously all admire so much what you're doing, and I think your generation we've done a much better job with your generation than some of the past generation of understanding the importance of service. And I'm just curious with the young people today. There's such a it's difficult because they understand the importance of service, but there's also a lot of pressure to make money. And I'm curious what your thoughts on that are, and like where you see yourselves in 5 to 10 years, and where maybe some of your peers are balancing the willingness and need to serve with.
Well, I've always been a great advocate for the bargaining system.
You're the one with the job.
Yeah, I had actually worked at a consulting firm before, and then I worked at a law firm. I had actually quit the law firm just because my brother is a prosecutor back home, and I mean, like, I just felt like I was following his footsteps. I really thought about it. I was like, I really don't like my job. So I had quit, and then I had like interviewed and I got an offer at an oil company. And I kind of thought, like, do I really want to work at an oil company? I feel like in the end, like I realized, like, joining this program, like, I realized, like, okay, my long-term goal was to always be a cop. Like, I always wanted to be a cop. And, like, I feel like joining this program, it made me help me realize, okay, like, you know, your past life, you were consumed with making money. And, you know, yeah, money buys you everything. The power of money is very, like, very powerful, but, you know, it doesn't make you happy. And I feel like helping others is what makes me happy. If, you know, I'm for doing it, at least I'll die happy. So, I mean, that's my take.
I think a lot of us have that kind of take. Like, you know, you can, if you're doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's what I learned growing up.
I want to find a career that not only helps myself, I mean, it'd be nice to have money, but I want to be able to go and help others. Like, that's why I can't decide what I want to do. I want a career that's helping others.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not.
Oh, this program also helped us to learn to really learn that you really don't need much. We, for food wise, they give us $4.75 a day for food. I mean, like, if you combine that together
As a team. We can go grocery shopping and
yeah, and we have plenty of money for food. You know, like, we live off of, like, duffel bags. We have one duffel bag, and, you know, we realize, like, it's not important, like, the material things, you know, it's